going on, you guys? It's your huggable hipster here, and welcome to another episode of The Casual Nerd. Today's episode is going to be rather intense because there is a news topic that needs to be discussed, and I need you guys to bear with me through my train of thought while I discuss this with you guys. It's a very heavy topic, and as you guys can tell by the title, it's about Martha is Dead. This game is going to be rather interesting to say the least, and that's putting it mildly. This game was censored by Sony. We got the confirmation about it a couple of days ago, and it's going to be one of those games that it needs a very heavy discussion because this is not for the faint of heart, and this is not a game that you just play to relax or because, hey, I'm gonna pick up this horror game. You really need to think about it before you play it. I even had thoughts of if I even wanted to talk about this in today's Casual Nerd, but I knew I needed to because this topic, the debates surrounding it, everybody, being either for or against Sony's decision to censor it, being for or against even the clip that was being shown around from what they're censoring. It's a heavy topic, and it's one that I'm excited to discuss, but please, I want to be able to preface this with a trigger warning. We are going to be talking about really sensitive topics in today's episode, so viewer discretion is advised. I need to sip my coffee before I go into this because I know a lot of people are going to disagree with me. I remember watching the first trailer that came out from the game Martha is Dead, and I even thought to myself, oh god, this is morbid. I was laughing to myself and I was thinking, gee, this is going to be interesting. Never in a million years did I ever think that it would be playable to cut somebody's face off and wear it like a trophy. I want to preface this by saying I have a degree in psychology. Okay, I'm not using that as, oh my god, I'm gloating kind of thing. I'm using that as I see things that people who are just gaming for the sake of gaming and they're not paying attention to the deeper meaning behind a lot of this stuff. I see what they're not seeing. And it's really dangerous and it's really sketchy what's going on right now in the field of gaming. How do I even go into this without making somebody pissed off? I know I'm going to make somebody pissed off. That's just the way it is of being a YouTuber. You say something, you say you like pizza, oh, somebody's gonna get pissed off. You say you like fruit, somebody's gonna get pissed off. I remember watching the trailer and, kind of laughing to myself because I was like, oh god, okay, that person's face is being taken off. That's great. That's great. Little did I know that would actually be a playable thing, that was an action that you had to perform. It never would occur to me that would be a thing that would ever happen. Right now in the gaming industry, we are experiencing a shift, to say the least, when it comes to playing games, how we experience games, psychologically, how we immerse ourselves into gaming. It's becoming more like real life. With VR, with all of the enhancements, with all of the technological advances that are happening, I feel like within the next decade or two, we're going to be experiencing a monumental shift in how people react and receive different types of content, mature or otherwise, in gaming. For example, maybe 5 or 6, even 10 years ago, you would never have seen something like this at all. It would be hinted at. It would be maybe a theme or a motif within a game. Maybe a character or an NPC would say something really nasty to another one, but that would probably be the extent of it. But right now we're having borderline snuff films in this, and that's what I consider this to be. I know even some of my friends are going to disagree with me on that very heavily, but that's my view of it. Because what's the next progression? Okay, we see this happening in a video game, and as you guys can tell already, I really disagree with the fact that you can actually have the ability to cut somebody's face off in a game. Whether that person be dead or alive, male or female, the gender, the situation, it doesn't matter. To me, it's still really wrong, and it's going down such a dangerous path. The way I see it, this is my personal limit, right? I'm not going to be playing this game. I'm not going to be reviewing it. I actually made a statement on Twitter stating that I'm not going to be going anywhere near this game at all. Originally, I wanted to play it and I wanted to review it back in 2020. I even stated, I believe, that I was going to be playing this game. Not anymore. We're seeing this shift in desensitization. We're seeing this shift in what is acceptable and how people are receiving content. We're getting so desensitized, you guys, that people think that this is okay. which it may be to a lot of you guys, and that's fine. It's part of a game. It's even a dream sequence that happens in the first 15 minutes from what I've told, and that's okay for a lot of you. But for me, it's not, and it's a personal thing, and I'm saying this as an opinion and not as a fact that needs to be, taken as a fact, because I don't mean it as a fact. I mean this as just my own personal stance on the subject matter. Let me explain to you guys something. That way you understand my perspective. Like I said, again, this is my personal take on it. This isn't a fact. This isn't me saying that you have to believe what I believe or any kind of thing like that. So here's the thing. I'm a horror fan, right? I love horror games. I love scary games. I love gory games. I love gory movies. I love that you can push the limits, in a video game to the point of where the person really questions, oh God, what's going on? What's happening? Is this real? Like what exactly is going on right now, right? Most, if not all of us, can distinguish the difference between fantasy and reality, or else we'd have a really big problem. I was taught from a very young age that video games, horror, especially in video games, a lot of the morbid stuff, it's not real. It's not real at all. It's just something that people who are very creative come up with to entertain others. If this is being accepted, cutting somebody's face off and keeping it as a trophy or wearing it or whatever the person does in the game, that's an issue for me. We see this mechanic, and we saw it in The Last of Us Part 2. I'm not making exceptions for that game at all whatsoever. It's guilty of it as well, where you're actively participating in the slaughter of people. Now, I almost stopped the game The Last of Us Part 2. I don't know if you guys know this or if I told you guys this, but I almost stopped playing The Last of Us Part 2 when we had to hit Nora several times. I didn't want to do it, and you guys saw the reaction I had towards it. I don't want to do that kind of stuff. There's a difference between watching a horror film and actively participating in the acts that are being performed. There's a difference between watching a cutscene of someone taking the face off of another human being and actively participating in it as the player of the game. There's a big difference. Being in the shoes of that killer, being in the shoes of someone who is sick enough to actually partake in that kind of act, I feel like this is going down a very dangerous path. And I feel like if this can be desensitized to, who knows what else can come next that can be desensitized to, and people won't care what's in a game. People say that the rating system is enough, but I don't think so. My opinion, I don't think so. With this kind of stuff, I feel like this game is pushing it too far. No matter if it's a 5-minute clip, part of the entire game, part of a dream sequence, it doesn't matter. It's still brought to life by the people who are putting in the game. It's being brought to life in a way of where people would just think, oh, it's part of the horror franchise. Psychologically, it does more damage than people realize. It seeps in subconsciously. And if we allow this, we'll allow, bigger and badder things to happen. Where's the limit? Where do we say, no, this is not okay? Where do we say, no, I don't want to consume this kind of media? When do we say that? Like I said, I'm a fan of horror games. But this kind of stuff, this is shock value. This is not horror. This is just, for me, this is just edgy to be edgy. Because the developers can. And to me, I don't think they should be censored. I think the censoring of the game is a good and a bad thing, because having the company have to rework the entire, not the entire thing, but like the section of the game in which it has to be censored, it's a good and a bad thing in regards to the audience that plays it. People like myself, we can just choose not to play it, and that's that. It's as simple as that. But it's not simple like that for a lot of people, because a lot of people make a bigger deal about you know, the media that they consume. They complain about it. They're like, oh, but if I'm not having fun and I'm suffering, then everybody else has to suffer. So, you know, there are some people like that, and I don't agree with that. I don't agree with censoring any kind of media unless it's, you know, really incredibly dangerous, and you shouldn't be doing that kind of thing, like torture, you know, people getting, you know, raped or murdered or anything like that. There's a lot of stuff that, you know, that should be censored. But this kind of thing, this is a game mechanic, and I'm for the company in the sense of where they should be able to speak their creative freedom. So people have the freedom to play, people have the freedom not to play, people have the freedom to be indifferent, and then there are people like me, who are journalists and game reviewers, who have the freedom to discuss a topic that is worrisome. You know, again, I don't want people getting the idea that I'm trying to state a fact when it's just an opinion. Even stating an opinion is dangerous. Hell, I know I talked a very long time about this topic, but I really wanted to make you guys aware of it and aware of the fact of my thoughts and how I feel on the topic. The bottom line, I don't agree with the censoring that Sony is doing. I think that's going down a very dangerous path when you censor artistic media, but I also, for myself personally, for my own personal threshold, and my own personal limit, I don't agree with the content that is being put into Martha is Dead. I feel like they could have gone about it in a better way instead of having the player control the cutting off of a face. I feel that goes into very morbid territory that I feel like we as human beings shouldn't be doing, even in a game. We shouldn't be involved in that kind of thing. So going on to another topic that is a little more lighthearted, I have an article up here, which there won't be a cutaway. I'm just going to be reading it to you guys. I'm just really excited about it, and I know that I'm going to want to get this video out quickly, so there won't be a cutaway to the article and everything like that. I want to be able to, you know, make this video as to the point as possible with as little edits as I possibly can, even though in this recording I know I already fumbled and tried to get my words together and everything like that, because it is a difficult subject matter to talk about. Next up, we're going to be talking about the game Sifu. Oh my god, I'm so excited to play this game. I've seen so much about it that it just looks so good, and the concept of it, please get out of here, it looks so good. So it states here in the header that Sifu updates to include difficulty settings and accessibility options. I've never seen a company more responsive than the creators of Sifu. Like, I've never seen more responsive company. It states here in the article that we reported earlier this week that Sifu will be getting free content updates following this launch, and now we may have some idea as to what the future patches may bring. The information comes directly from co-founder of developer Slowclap, Pierre Tarno, who recently appeared on Twitch talk show The Weekly. Host and gaming accessibility advocate Steve Saylor asked Tarno whether there are plans for additional accessibility or perhaps even difficulty options on Sifu, and Tarno then went into talking about how the development team has seen a lot of comments on the game's steep level of difficulty. Although Sifu is meant to be highly challenging by design, Slowcap doesn't necessarily want to get in the way of people's enjoyment, which I think that's really, really awesome, and I wish more games, Dark Souls, would do that as well. Let's face it, okay, I really want an easier, just an easier difficulty for Dark Souls. I don't want to be, you know, thinking, hey, I want to enjoy Dark Souls at like 2 o'clock in the morning, play a little bit and just keep dying. Like, you just want to be able to enjoy some games and not have to worry about, oh crap, am I gonna die here? Shit. So actually the accessibility advocate Steve Saylor broke the news on Twitter, and he stated that, hey, so it's weird I get to help break the news, but yes, Sifu is getting accessibility updates post-launch. Better captions, high contrast mode on PS4 and 5 was on PC, but not PS4 and 5 at launch due to a bug. Difficulty modes both easier and harder, similar to Metroid Dread's update. Now, for those of you who don't know, Metroid Dread got an update for just a more easier mode, and I think there's also a new challenge mode that's coming there, but I could be wrong. I have yet to play Metroid Dread. I'm going to this year actually as a review, so I'm really excited about that. I'm really excited about this. I am looking forward to seeing how people respond to a lot of this, because the fact of the matter is that there are so many people who I just don't like the fact that easy modes are being brought to the table and everything. And you know, it's so strange to me that people are complaining about the accessibility modes, because the fact of the matter is like I want to be able to see developers go more outside their comfort zone in terms of how different options are added and what's being added in terms of like different color grading options for colorblind people, different accessibility options for people who might be, impaired, like they can't really use their hands that well or something, like for alternative controls or, whatever it may be. It's strange that when we talk about easy versus difficult, there's this entire society of the get good crowd, and I feel it's kind of disrespectful, to say, oh, well, just get good at the game. This person might not have good reflexes, or their motor functions might be limited. You never know what the person might be dealing with at the time. So to just say, get good, that's insulting. And for me personally, I love Sekiro. I love Dark Souls. I love the Souls types games, and I just love the more difficult types of games as well, because I feel like it's something recently that I felt more pushed towards. And ever since I beat Dark Souls, I felt a high to be able to do these more types of difficult games, and I just love it. But I know that's not everybody's cup of tea, because there isn't an easy mode. You just get plopped in there and be like, okay, well, for people who are really like just getting into those types of games, it's daunting. Like, let me tell you, when I first started Dark Souls, oh my god, I wanted to quit because I thought the controls were bad. I thought this, I thought that, everything under the sun. But then I kind of got like I was about to say a brain fart, not necessarily a brain fart. More or less is kind of like awakening to, you need to do it by the game's rules or nothing at all. Like, you can't go into a Dark Souls game thinking it's going to be like every other game you play. That's just not the case at all. What would make things absolutely amazing for people who don't normally play Souls games is to see, oh hey, this company put in an easy mode, let me try it now. It would bring in so many, more people. It would bring in such a bigger audience that I feel like it would be worth its while for the company to put like a normal or easy mode on Bloodborne. Something to just bring in more people, bring in more of an audience, because who doesn't want to play Bloodborne? But a lot of people don't want to do that because they see how difficult the games are, and they get discouraged, and they don't, well, whether it be because of accessibility issues or they just don't want to play a hard game. They just want to chill, and I completely understand that. So needless to say, just bottom line, I'm really happy that they're putting an easy mode for Sifu. I'm actually really excited to see what the reception is going to be like after easy mode is added, because I know it's going to bring in so many more players. So lastly, in gaming news, it's going to be Resident Evil news. I had to. I saw an article in the Discord and I was like, oh, I gotta talk about this now. So Resident Evil 4 Remake report says it will build on unused material from the original, which I think is actually kind of cool. It states here in the article that the heavily rumored Resident Evil 4 Remake will take a darker and more frightening approach. Love it already. With some material that never made it into the original game. I'm reading this actually for the first time. What? Take a darker and more threatening approach with some material that never made it into the original game? I'm on board with this. I am on board with this. While Capcom has never announced otherwise acknowledged work on a Resident Evil 4 remake, aside from the VR exclusive that came out last year, a steady stream of high-profile leaks have nonetheless kept Resident Evil fans seemingly well appraised of its progress. I try to stay away from a lot of the rumors unless I hear from Capcom, so I haven't really heard anything about Resident Evil stuff, because I don't let my mind go down that rabbit hole, because if I go down it, I won't be able to stop. It continues on, stating that according to Fanbyte's report, Capcom is opting to make some substantial changes to Resident Evil 4 in the course of the remake. These include integrating some of the spookier and supernatural elements seen in pre-release materials for the original game. The reports claim the significant portions of the original story, including Leon's initial arrival in the Ganado village, will now be set at night in service of those creepier vibes. I'm so incredibly ready for this. Just give me all of that. That is going to be interesting. That's actually somewhat very Resident Evil Village type vibes. Ooh. Okay, I can see where they're going with this. This is gonna be epic. I'm so excited. But you guys, that was it for today's Casual Nerd. If you all like my face and what I do, please be sure to subscribe and hit the bell down below, because I make videos every Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and Saturday. And please, for the love of everything unholy, keep it civil down in the comments, okay? I only ever had to turn off the comments once in a YouTube video, and that was for my Warpath trailer, because it got kind of nasty down there. So please, I don't want to have a repeat of that. I don't. So just please keep it nice. Keep it civil, And as usual, stay casually nerdy. I will see you all in the next video. Bye, you guys.